Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Monday has rolled around again. I can't believe how fast time goes by these days. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or what is the problem, Virginia? What is going on?
I don't know.
We don't. We don't
Time
know.
flies when you're having fun, I guess.
That's right. Well, we're here today, our usual Motivational Monday with self-care, self-improvement, personal and professional development. I'm Dr. Laurie Davis, your host of the Today Show, broadcasting from the Disability Channel, and also right now streaming live on Laurie Davis Facebook page, Laurie Davis YouTube, the Disability Channel. Some of our shows go down to the United States to your home TV, and we're just all over the place right now. And I have an
Yeah.
itchy nose. What does that mean if your nose is itchy?
I think my grandma used to say you're gonna kiss a fool.
Kiss a fool. I better go up and kiss the dog right now. That dog, you know what he's doing? Oh my goodness. Well, we got into this we have a dog, which we inherited actually from a friend of ours who was sick and going to pass. And he turned 7 in September. So we've had him for 5 years now. Well, now in the morning, I have yogurt and some fruit, and that's not good enough. He hounds me until I make a piece of toast. And he even knows the word. And if I don't do that, he gets very belligerent. He gets like he's talking back to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's running around in circles and he's growling and he's till I get that toast. Any bad habits from your side of the fence today, Virginia?
No, yes. My cats do the same thing. They know, like when we start making supper, that they're gonna
Yeah,
get their supper too. So they sit there and they'll be like staring at you
I know.
right behind your feet. Yeah, until and our littlest one, he'll meow, meow, meow every time you walk by, like, hello, I'm here.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like he has a temper tantrum or a meltdown or something.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit. We have a beautiful guest today, Dr. Patricia Crane from Lake Arrowhead, California. Can't wait to bring her on. I
Yeah.
always love hearing everything she has to say. And but last night, let's tell our viewers what we did last night. Over to
Mhm.
you.
Last night, we hosted a fundraiser for myself. If you are just joining us, I am on a breast cancer journey. I am nearing the end, keeping everything crossed. Waiting just to hear from some more doctors. But other than that, yeah, we had a beautiful fundraiser called 10 Ways to Build or Raise Confident Children. We had a wonderful turnout, excellent feedback. It was a great, fun, and inspiring evening.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun. That's one of my favorite products that I created many years ago. And it's all about and for people who have children in their care. So whether you're a teacher or a hockey coach or daycare person or mom or grandma, it didn't really have to be. And it also applies if people have adult children, because we have lots of adult children out there right now with very little confidence or esteem. So this gave our more senior parents an opportunity to pick up some tips on how to support their adult children. Adult
Absolutely.
children.
Yeah.
And Kathy was there, and she said it was a fast and informative 2 hours. We hope you got some tips, Kathy, on how to support your brother.
Mhm.
And it could be a family member like Kathy, who, is caregiving right now.
Yeah,
And there's lots of ways that you can apply the principles for sure.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
So before we bring Patricia in, would you like to just share with our viewers once again how you feel? Because I know you had Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life in One Hand, and your conventional medicine on the other hand. And
Mhm.
you have come through this thing like a trooper and have a clean bill of health pretty much right now. So
Yes.
you want to share a little bit about how that self-worth journey supported you?
Absolutely. Self-worth just kept me on that positive side, instead of towing in the negative side. Yes, I had moments, everyone has moments, but I knew deep down I'd get through it. I knew deep down that, this wasn't my last year on the earth, shall I say. I have too much to do. I have way too much to do yet. And yeah, when I looked at Louise's book, how, you can heal your life, and thinking, okay, why breast cancer? Because we couldn't figure out why, because it totally came out of left field. It does not run in my family. Yes, there are different cancers, but nothing is consistent. And so we were just kind of in shock. We had no idea. But when you look in the book, the beautiful thing, it says a refusal to nourish the self, putting everyone else first. And I had just gone through a rough patch, numerous losses in 2022, dealing with the state, stuff like that. And by the time I allowed myself to grieve, took that time to grieve, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So, your body is so intuitive, and we need to pay attention. We need to pay attention. So, yeah, it's not going to give you a choice. If you don't take care of yourself and nourish yourself, which I definitely know I was not. I know I wasn't. I had 15 million other things on the go. Yeah, it does it for you, and then puts you right on your butt, and you don't have a choice. I've been off work now since February, and yeah, it's been, I don't know, chemo, 6 rounds of chemo. I will be on a immunotherapy till March next year. And I've had surgery in the summer, and now just waiting to see if they want to do radiation. So, yeah. But the surgery was beautiful. By the time the doctor got in there, the tumor was gone. It had not spread. And yeah, we're on the right path. And that's all that matters. But the self-worth in the meantime just kept me, it kept me sane in a way. I didn't fall back as recovering or a healing. I like that word better. A healing alcoholic. The thought was there when you first get diagnosed, and then after it's like, no, I got other ways I can deal with this. So it's been a blessing having those tools in my tool belt on this unexpected life journey, shall we say.
Yes, absolutely. For sure. Well, we can't make any medical claims, but we know we've helped to heal a lot of people over the years when they did their personal work and they realized they had value. All of a sudden, they're not popping the pills or,
Absolutely. Yeah.
doing the drugs or using other mechanisms to try and cope, right? So,
Exactly. Yeah. What's the underlying cause?
yes, right. So, I'm really excited today because we have one of my favorite people on the show. And I've never met her in person. I'm hoping to do that in November, though, because I'm going to California again this year. And we didn't make it last year, but hopefully this year. And Dr. Patricia Crane is our guest today. So let me just bring her in, and always love to hear what she has to say. Good morning, Patricia.
Good morning from California.
Yes, burning on fire. Can you give us a report?
Well, fortunately, things are getting contained, and it rained last night. So we're kind of in a triangle of fires here, none of which right at the moment are threatening our particular location, which is good. The first one was for a while. But, we're really blessed to have fabulous firefighters who are out there doing their best. And we're really blessed to have some rain last night and today, because that's going to help a lot. It's interesting, our weather, we went from 80 plus up to 90 degrees a few weeks ago, and that's part of why the fires were so bad. And today it's like 52. so nature has really given us a break, which is great. We're really happy about that. Yeah. But excellent. I do want to say thank you, Virginia, for sharing your journey. I hadn't heard the whole thing before, or as much as you've shared. So thank you so much. And I'm glad Louise's work has helped you, and that, you were guided in the balance that you needed with the traditional medical and the, self-worth work with Louise's work and others that you can do. And I think it's important to point out that I think some people have interpreted Louise's work as don't use the medical profession, and that is absolutely incorrect completely. It's really about doing your own guidance and doing the best you can with both worlds, as far as I'm concerned. And one of my favorite affirmations for anyone going through, any kind of physical, mental, or physical issue is every hand that touches me is a healing hand.
I like that.
So that can be, an energy practitioner, it can be medical, etc. And I know several years ago I had some amazing guidance in a particular issue I was going through to get the premier doctor in almost the whole United States for something that I needed. So that's, if you're meditating and doing your work, you're going to get the guidance that you need, which is great. I wanted to talk a little more, of course, about Louise and her work today, and particularly in the framework of self-care. And I loved hearing you both talk about your pets. Because really, pets are part of self-care. If it's possible for you to have a pet, and Rick and I did for many years before we moved where we are now, we just don't have a space at this point. But, dogs and cats are just an addition that really can help you smile. Goodness, there's so much on the internet these days with these dogs and cats doing the funniest things that can just really make you laugh for hours. So not that you need to go down that rabbit hole every day. So, a lot of times people think about self-care as, oh, I need to go get a massage, or I need to go to a retreat or do something like that. And that's great if you can do that. But I'd like to put it in the context of mind, body, emotions, and spirit, that you're taking care of every part of yourself. And Virginia, you said it beautifully about, you really need to listen to your body, and you need to listen to your emotions. You were really stressed during one part of, when you're talking about it was a very stressful time for you. And that kind of a time, your immune system is not as strong as it usually is. And so it's a practice of really all these different things. And the easiest one to start with, you both know, and I'm sure your listeners pretty much know too, and that is just do some deep breathing. Really do some nice deep breathing. One of the women that I worked with, she started setting her watch for hourly so that she could stop sitting at the computer every hour for at least a minute and just doing the breathing, maybe getting up and walking around her apartment, for a minute or two. And I know that's something that probably happens to both of you. It certainly happens to me. I'm in front of the computer all day long with emails and projects and all that kind of thing. And it's really nice to just, so whoever's listening right now, including you two, which I'm delighted, Laurie, to be on your show again, just take a few deep breaths and just allow not only the breathing, but let your shoulders and your neck and your back just relax and let go. We tend to hold so much tension in the neck and the shoulders because we're trying to hold up the whole world. It's not our job. It's not our job, right? to do that. But that's where a lot of the tension seems to go from many people, and get headaches and, the shoulders as well. So usually when I'm doing deep breathing in person with a group and I say, let your shoulders relax, this is what happens. Everybody's shoulders go down. And so it's just a simple technique to try. Another one that I just love for the physical part, and I do this pretty often with myself, is called a body scan. And you just close your eyes and you start at the top of your head, and you just take your awareness all the way down through your body, just noticing what parts of your body might feel some tension, discomfort, and what parts feel relaxed. And the parts that might feel tense or uncomfortable, you can breathe in relaxation to those parts of your body and breathe it out, breathe out the tension. And I also say, breathe in the love. Breathe in the love. You have, as Louise says, you have an infinite well of love in your own heart. So breathe in that love and just really enjoy it for yourself, right? And of course, the foundation of Louise's work is loving yourself. And feel free to come in and ask a question or make a comment. I don't need to be talking this whole time. You both are very wise people, I know. That the foundation of your life really working is loving and approving of yourself. And it sounds really easy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But quite honestly, for most people, it takes months, if not years, to unravel all that stuff that needs to be understood about your life to be able to really love and approve of yourself. But the first step is just saying, I'm willing. You know, I've had people that just said, oh man, I can't do that. That just sounds like too big. But just be willing. You know, you don't have to start it right away right away to say I'm willing. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. But I'm willing to love and approve of myself and just understand anything about myself that I need to release or I need to understand. And, you know, we all have stuff, regardless of even how wonderful an upbringing you may have had. There's always stuff in there that has caused something negative to be in your conscious mind that you need to bring into your conscious mind to be able to unravel some of those things and be able to really find that love and approval of yourself. But, you know, Louise has a list of 12 things now for how to love yourself. And the very first one is to stop criticizing yourself.
Mm.
So, you know, it's like, what do you criticize yourself about? Your appearance, something with your finances, with your relationships, whatever it might be. What do you criticize yourself about? And Louise says, stop that. Stop it. Stop it. I have a big stop sign on one of my things that I send out to people that just says, you know, stop criticizing. So that's one right there, to really stop criticizing yourself. I didn't bring my mirror in today, but she also really advocates mirror work, you know, talking to yourself in the mirror and really being able to look in your own eyes and say, I love you. You know, really say, I love you. And that's really tough for people when they first start doing that, isn't it? Yeah. You know, because what it brings up is all the places that you're unloving with yourself. And so there's often a lot of tears that happen with that. But it just does work as time goes on to really look at yourself, and you can not only say I love you in the mirror, but you can talk to yourself about an issue that might be going on and help yourself work it out. And there's just something magic about looking in the mirror in your own eyes and really looking. You know, you're not looking at your hair, your eyebrows, or your little saggy places, or wherever those happen to be. You're not looking at those. You're really looking at the heart of who you are and the soul of who you are, to love that person and to know that, you know, we're all lovable. We're all lovable. And yes, we've done things we're not proud of. Louise says forgive, you know, forgive yourself, of course, and that takes a lot as well for people to really go to the depths of forgiving themselves and other people for things that have happened. And that's a really important part of, you know, of the practice and the emotional taking care of yourself, right? Yeah. So the physical, the emotional, the mental, what are you thinking? You know, what are your thoughts? You know, what are the thoughts that go through your mind? And we tend to have this sort of automatic thought pattern that goes through every day. And it's developing awareness, right? You know, how do you become more aware of your thoughts instead of just letting them go on their own little tangent? Because really, you can't control your mind. You can't. And it takes some practice to do that. My favorite technique that I truly think has saved my life, and I've told Laurie this before, but I used to be an extremely anxious, uptight person. I had a lot of physical stuff. I had headaches all the time. I was taking aspirin every single day practically. I had lost a lot of weight because I was so stressed out working for the welfare department in LA, which you can imagine was stressful.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that was. But it was also a part of my journey to be of service. You know, I had made a commitment years before that I was going to be of service. I didn't know what that meant, how it was going to happen, whatever, but I ended up being in the welfare department. But I also ended up even more stressed and anxious than I had been growing up, you know, then. And a dear, dear friend of mine was really paying attention to me, and she came to me one day and just put her hand very gently on my shoulder and said, Patricia, you need help. And I want you to come to a meditation program with me. That has helped me tremendously. And so I went to the meditation program. And now you got to understand, I'm in California, right? And what my mother used to say is, you people in California are 15 years ahead of us in New Jersey with everything. And so even in California, meditation at the time was just a little unusual. And so I took a little while before I really decided to dive into it, but I found that my meditation practice daily just completely transformed my life in a very short period of time. I'd been smoking heavily. I quit smoking. I quit drinking. I just was, and I gained weight because I wasn't so stressed, which was good because I was really too thin. But for a lot of people, taking that 15 or 20 minutes is a lot of time during the day. So I just say, there's a lot of things you can do these days with meditation. Go on YouTube. I have some meditations on YouTube. There's lots of wonderful music. I love listening to just the relaxing music on YouTube. If I get stressed, or like when I've been preparing for this training I was talking about, it's really busy. And so I just put that on my TV and do the other things I need to do that don't require a lot of thinking, of course, but it's really nice. So, think about how you can build some relaxation into your daily life if you're really stressed, and feeling a lot of tension. And there's lots of ways you can do it on a simple way, even if you're not really up for meditating 15 or 20 minutes a couple of times a day. So that for me has really been transformative. And I don't know, do either of you do a practice of meditation that you'd like to share?
Sure. As a matter of fact, I have it right here. This is something that I had a hard time just kind of, closing my eyes and meditating that way. But I have this book. You've probably seen it. It's called Simple Abundance.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's a lovely book. Yeah.
And I love this book. And of course, it has every day of the year in it. So, you go to your day and there's always a lovely article about something and then my mind can go into that meditative state. So this is kind of like my little triggers here. Mm-hmm. So, what do I need to be thinking about today? And maybe it's about taking care of my home. Maybe it's about taking care of me. Maybe it's about creating something with my hands. It's all very balanced. So thank you for asking that. And I know Virginia meditates. So over to you, Virginia.
And that's funny that you say that, Laurie, because this little book here is the same thing. Everything's falling down. The same thing. Daily thoughts and affirmations. I have it bookmarked. Yeah. September 15 was yesterday. Trust your rhythm. And today is allow yourself to feel. And then the same thing. It goes through and then it gives you an affirmation. It is safe for me to feel. So, yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. And yeah, just, I find, I love the music too. I have music on.
Me too.
In the background, stuff like that. Or I find for me too, I'll read a book, any book. Sometimes I just, especially with everything going on, and a lot of it's heavy. So I find joyous books to read, stuff like that too. That helps me just kind of take my mind off everything that's going on and just allows me to stop and relax and de-stress. And it's funny when you said about the mirror work, because when I was first diagnosed and had my first round of chemo, I was standing there looking in the mirror, and that's when I realized my hair was falling out. And so just to look in there and realize that I'm still me, even if I don't have hair and eyebrows and eyelashes. It is definitely something to sit there and to say, I am still beautiful. I am still me, and I will get through this. So that mirror work, is especially when those changes are, I never thought of myself as a vain person, but when I lost all my eyelashes, I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
Okay.
They're back and everything's coming back now, but it is so important to stay positive and to love yourself through it, because the changes can be radical. Absolutely. Changes can be radical. So thank you for sharing that. I really touched on that one, the mirror work. So.
And you are beautiful.
I know. She's gorgeous.
The day is set. Join us October 12th, 2024 at Carrigan Arms for our next fundraiser in honor of veterans, the Invictus Games in British Columbia, Canada, and TDC Employment Program enrollment. For more information, email us at info@thedisabilitychannel.ca. Introducing Veteran House Alliance International Monthly 50/50 Raffle. Purchase your ticket today, link on display, and have a chance to win cash and help a great platform supporting veterans.
Exactly. So, and the one that I use often of Louise's, well, there's two. There's Meditations to Heal Your Life. And then there's also the Trust Life book, which was actually published after she passed away. And Robert Holden did a beautiful job doing daily, like you're both talking about, something daily in the Trust Life book. And I actually send out to all our mailing list the 7 affirmations for the week, starting every Monday. So it's not the whole paragraph, it's just the affirmations. But, those are a great starter because they're not only touching you emotionally, but they're working with you mentally. And that's a very important thing because Louise, one of her major sayings is, all is well, everything is working out for the highest good of all concerned. I am going to trust, all is well, And so that is an important part to just think about, especially when you're going through something stressful and you're not sure how you're going to handle it or what's going to happen. You can say to yourself, I can handle this. That's something that Susan Jeffers always said, I can handle this. And then all the affirmations that Louise has that really can help you stay centered and just trust the outcome, even though you don't know what is going to happen, trusting the outcome and what's going on. Another real important piece for self-care, especially for women, because they really do not do this enough, reach out and ask for support.
Oh,
Reach it, right? Okay, that touched a nerve, didn't it?
I can handle everything.
I know. Reach out and ask for support because we don't really need to handle and hold everything on our own. We're really taught that, growing up.
Yeah.
But when I have a group and I ask, just in general, even if it includes some men, mostly the groups are just women though, because women are, of course, more emotionally connected and more open to going to those places to deal with it. Yeah. And I'll ask, how many of you would be happy if a friend of yours called and they needed some help, for something that you could do? And everybody raises their hands. And then I say, and how often do you ask for help? And there might be 2 people in the group that raise their hands, 2 women. Yeah. And so that's another part of just really taking care of yourself is ask for help. Don't feel like you need to carry everything on your own shoulders, do everything for yourself, be strong all the time, because you don't. It's really important for us to and it's an honoring not only of yourself, but when you trust a friend enough to ask to help, right? So, and most of the time they're going to be very happy to help you. It's always, in a way, this is a little sad thing that I'll bring up, but whenever there are disasters, what happens? Everybody just jumps in to help, don't they? Yeah. You don't really even have to ask. And so we see so much kindness when something really urgent is happening, like some of the fires that are going on up here right now. People are just absolutely happy to help, to donate if you can, etc. But on a day-to-day basis, when it's not so critical, that's when it's really important to start saying, oh yeah, I need to ask for help. I can't do it all. Let's see, let me think of a few other things. You could also have just a little support group of women that you are friends with, that you could meet on Zoom once every couple of weeks or something like that. That to me, that's something that I do with some of my friends. Once when the pandemic hit, we weren't out there and connecting with each other physically so much, and we've kept up the practice. And it's just great to be able to have that, just that support every so often, and just take a few moments and to listen to your friends and support them as well. So that's something that I really encourage people to do, whether it's an in-person group. We have one in-person group up here in Lake Arrowhead that I really enjoy, and then doing some things on, online as well. So what are some of the things that you do to ask for support? I know I saw that reaction about, oh yeah, I need to ask for support, but let's talk about it.
Well, it was my husband who told me many years ago, you need to get over yourself. Because, when I first met him, he's a mechanic, and my car was broken down, and he said, let me fix your car. on the weekend. I can do it. And I went, oh no, that's okay. I've got my car guy.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we're offered help, how good are we at receiving it?
Yeah.
Asking for help is one thing, but receiving it is even more challenging for some people.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wanted to buy me a piece of jewelry. And I said, oh, that's good. I've got lots of that. You don't need to. And that's how I was. But it was a street person that taught me that balance of giving and receiving. Everything must be perfectly balanced. That was in 1994, and a street person offered me money when I told him that I didn't have any, and I didn't. I was in Seattle doing a lot of research, getting ready to, do my work in the world, and met this guy, and I knew he was going to ask me for money, and I thought, oh crap. So he came up and asked me for money, and I said no. But what I had to do, though, was become vulnerable and tell the truth. And I said, you know what? I actually don't even have any money. I'm living on a shoestring, and I might look like I have money, but I don't. We're down here from Canada, no income. And he had a trench coat on, took his paper cup out, and he shoved it in my face, and he said, how much do you need?
Oh.
I know. And that's the day, ladies. That is the day. I went home crying. Ron says, what's wrong? I told him what happened. And that's when he sat me down and he said, when are you going to get over yourself? Because you love giving.
Yeah.
So you know what? You could have just taken a dime. You would have made his day.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, ladies. I will go to my grave with the look on his face. It was like I had actually just physically, if this is politically incorrect, excuse me, but it was like I had just cut off 2 limbs. He was devastated.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, okay. And after that, when somebody offered me help, I say, yes, yes, yes. And Virginia, I asked Virginia because I wanted to do this fundraiser for her for some time. And she said, go ahead, Virginia, it's your story. If somebody had offered to do that for you back in the day, prior to you loving yourself, how would you have handled that?
No, this journey has been extremely humbling. Yeah, absolutely not. I would not have accepted any other help. I would have figured out a way. Nobody probably would have known what I was going through. I would have, hid away. I wouldn't have been seeking out. I wouldn't have been seen at all if I could absolutely help it. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a huge difference. And yeah, I always keep your story in mind when anyone offers, I had a friend say, what can I do? I like to bake. Thank you very much. I just said, thank you. It's a very humbling journey to be on, and to asking for help, especially when, I'm the caregiver, I'm the parent, and I have my, 18-year-old helping me, saying no to his friends. He can't, no, mom just had surgery. I need to be here for her. Stuff like that. Right. So, I mean, it's very humbling journey, but to just accept it and say, thank you. Absolutely. I keep your story in mind, Laurie, because everybody wants to feel that feeling of how it feels to be a giver. And, we understand on our self-worth journey that receiving is part of the self-worth. Yeah.
Well, and it's amazing how life just hands us these situations, isn't it? When you don't expect it, but there it is. And so it's up to you to be able to take it or to not. And, both of you are just such wise women that you knew, hey, I need to accept this. I need to be vulnerable. I need to make the changes. And so that's where you can just love yourself even more for saying yes, right? Yeah, absolutely. So one of the books besides Louise's that we use in our coach training is Cheryl Richardson's The Art of Extreme Self-Care. And so she has a number of things that she talks about, but one that really struck me years ago when I first read her book, and one of the reasons that we encourage the coaches to read the self-care book is because exactly what we're talking about today is people don't take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So as a coach, you need to take care of yourself and also teach your clients how to take care of themselves. And so one of the things that really struck me in reading Cheryl's book was saying no.
Oh,
Saying no. So, you're not saying yes to everything that people ask you to do. And that for me, and maybe for you're both nodding, so it's probably been hard for you. And I know that's been a challenge for me, and I've gotten better over the years. And what Cheryl talks about is, what is your absolute yes? What are you absolutely saying yes to? Which means you're going to say no to some things, right? Now, I haven't been a parent, so I haven't had to say no to like the PTA and places like that, But what I did learn is that I really had to pay attention to my absolute yeses, which was the focus of what I was doing with my work.
Mm-hmm.
And so since I've been up here in Lake Arrowhead and go to some different meetings, I've been asked to be on 2 different boards of directors. And I very calmly said, thank you so much for, thinking of me, and that it would be an honor. I'm just not able to accept it with all the other things I'm involved in right now, but I wish you the best with your board. So just thanking them very lovingly, but saying, no, I can't take on one more thing at this point because it'll just be overwhelming. So that's something, again, we're back to women, taking on everything and being able to say no. And that definitely, it's uncomfortable the first few times because you feel like you're letting someone down, right?
right.
But it gets easier. It gets a lot easier. Absolutely. So I'm definitely going to encourage you to do that. The fourth thing we haven't really talked about specifically, it's sort of been around in there, but is really our spiritual connection, which meditation promotes, of course, and the readings that you're talking about promotes that spiritual connection. For some people, it's not comfortable, but it's something that, was really important in Louise's work, and being able to really connect with that place in the energy that is bigger than yourself, whether you call it God or Allah or spirit or divine wisdom. It doesn't matter what you call it. And I know for myself, that's what meditation really fostered for me. I had grown up in a fairly evangelical church in my youth, and just began to get very disillusioned with a lot of what was going on in the church. And I decided I was an agnostic. I didn't go to being an atheist because I thought, well, I don't know. Maybe there's a God, maybe there isn't. I don't know. But I'm going to do my best to be of service, on the planet. And when I started meditating, within a fairly short period of time, a few months or so, I remember coming out of this one meditation in particular and saying, oh my goodness, I feel God. I feel that energy that I'm connected with. And it was quite a revelation to me. And so the meditation part for me was what did it. One of my friends who absolutely said, nope, I'm not meditating. I think it's a stupid thing and I'm not ever going to do it. But he loved going out into nature. And that was his connection with the divine. So it doesn't matter what you call it. It's that feeling that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. And it's not this little ego that drives us around all the time, right? And I call it actually, when you get in tune, you're co-creating with spirit. We hear about something, you have to get rid of your ego. But there's no way to get rid of your ego, or you're not going to be on the planet anymore, right? The ego is what gets us up in the morning, has ideas, gets us, doing things, gets me to be on this show with you guys, and listen to your stories as well. But it's when we're trying to do everything out of our ego that things fall apart, right? And I know one of the things that I'm concerned about, just with a lot that's going on in the self-improvement and self-growth area these days, is that it starts to sound like you're doing everything for your ego, and mostly it's about making money. And my personal focus is that I am going to meditate and get that connection and that divine wisdom to tell me what to do, right? I'm not going to try and figure it all out on myself, because I've done that in the past and it hasn't always worked. Sometimes it does, but it doesn't always, right?
Mhm.
So, and I know both of you really understand that as well. So I call it co-creating with spirit. And when we do that, then amazing miracles happen. They just absolutely happen. You meet people that take you on another step in your journey. You get that email, you get that call, you get just things happen that you couldn't have imagined that come together. When I was initially on my journey and really saying, okay, I want to be somehow of service on the planet and helping others. Being at the welfare department, as stressful as it was part of that, being able to help people who were really disadvantaged and not doing very well and helping them to become more functional for themselves. But as time went on, and then I started getting into the self-growth work before Louise's book was even out there. I did find the Heal Your Body book, which you were talking about, Virginia, the Heal Your Body stuff with symptoms, etc. And I found that. And so I was using that for myself and found some amazing revelations. But her book wasn't out yet when I learned about affirmations. And so, but when I finally met Louise, and that was I actually got her book when it first came out, the big one, You Can Heal Your Life, 1984, and met her personally in 1986. But that's when I really felt like, you know what, this is my personal journey and this is where I'm supposed to be. So it took a number of years. And I think sometimes people are a little too impatient and not realizing that every job, all the experiences that you go through, they're all a part of whatever it is that you're ultimately here for your life purpose, right? And your life purpose can be expressed in a lot of different ways, a lot of different ways. Laurie, you're certainly expressing your life purpose with all the, workshops that you do and all that you help people to do. So there it is, and you've had many, many years now of expressing that life purpose and helping hundreds, thousands of people, really, thousands. And Virginia, I don't know what work you were doing before, but in some way, you're already also expressing your life purpose. And what this journey through cancer is going to enable you to do is find new ways to do that, and deeper ways to do that you're already inspiring people. Good grief, Gwen. You're inspiring people. So feel free to answer. I'm just talking on and on and I'm enjoying it, but I'd love to hear from both of you as well. Any comments on life purpose or other little tips for self-care that you have?
The Disability Channel would like to thank our existing sponsors. We really appreciate the support and kindness from the BIAs across the GTA, Ontario, Canada, and our friends in the USA. We love making new friends. Thank you for supporting our existing employment programs.
Go ahead, Virginia.
The one when we were talking about meditation before, I dabble a little bit in therapeutic art with when I help with addictions. And the one meditation we do is actually an art meditation. So whatever images pop into your head while you're doing your meditation is what you put down on paper. So when I was first diagnosed, and I would do the meditations focused around the tumor, and always in my mind, I saw the tumor shrinking, but also like hearts surrounded it.
Oh, that's
so, when we talk about, the co right with the divine and I feel like that. So, loving every part of you, even if it's something that's not the greatest. I felt that was important as well in my healing process. When I did those meditations, the art meditations, and I would draw it out how I would see it in my mind and go from there. So every little bit, everything that you can do that, helps you along your path is amazing. And I've always been in the care. I've done long-term care. I've done works with families, work in the schools. So that's my journey as well.
Yeah. Well, I love the image of having the hearts around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That really is. On one of the, I think I'm not sure if it's a tape, old tape. She did tapes. I think it's one of the videos, and Louise talks about how, she wasn't a person who had attacks for, like the Pac-Man attacks for her cancer.
Yeah.
She envisioned cool, clear water just rinsing it out, just rinsing it out. But I really love the idea of the hearts around it. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Laurie?
Well, for me, I'm. Some people call it manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
Bring things into your world physically from your previous prayers, connections, meditations, whatever. So I have been an amazing manifester.
Mm-hmm.
If I saw something that I knew we needed or wanted, it landed. And our very first retreat center, we purchased it in 1998. And my husband and I were driving by one Sunday afternoon, and here was this beautiful 30-acre property with a 10,000 square foot home on it, and it was for sale. And I might have had maybe $20 in the bank that day. And we're driving by, and I said, now that's what we need. We need a retreat center run. I said, I wonder how much they want for that. And you know what he said to me? What do you care?
Right.
If you're supposed to have that, it doesn't matter how much it is.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't I marry a very smart man?
Yes,
Oh my
you
gosh. So, the next thing I know, we're living in this place.
Mm-hmm.
And the lady that owned it needed a year to get out. She said, how about I rent you the West Suite? We'll live on the East Suite. And then when we do the deal, I'll rent from you. And we lived there and had that retreat center for 5.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that was our first of 3 that we would eventually have in the process. But yeah, usually, but those are the ways that I have connected. Because if a thought gets dropped in, I remember when the idea came about pursuing self-worth and showing people how to love themselves and how to build and repair that and restore. I just remember saying, God, I think this is a very large job. And if you want me to head this up, you better bring me the people who need what I've got. And that was 32 years ago. And people are
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So that's my story.
No, that's great because, and that's really the whole idea with the affirmations is that, you're focusing on what you want as though it's already happened with the affirmations, whether it's something physical, like you're talking about with a retreat center. I have something very similar that Rick and I did. And with relationships, with your health, with your career, whatever it happens to be. And I call it the art of crafting affirmations because there really is an art to it. It's not just a simple rote kind of thing. But of course, Louise has been called the queen of affirmations. I have a book, Ordering from the Cosmic Kitchen, that's all about affirmations. But those are really a significant part of your whole self-growth journey to be able to really look at, okay, here's where I am in life, but this is where I want to go, and creating those affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
And Rick and I did something similar for the place that something for this place too, but especially for the first one that we manifested together. And that was that we wanted a bigger space that had a workshop room. We didn't want a retreat center. I didn't think about that, but I don't think we wanted an actual retreat center. But we were guided to it in just an amazing way after doing these affirmations. And initially, when we started looking, just for fun, we're out there, and all the stuff that we liked was like $750,000 or $1 million. Now we're talking over 20 years ago, so you know how much those properties would be worth today.
Yeah.
And we knew we couldn't afford those, but we put them on our little vision board anyway, and said, "Look, we're going to find the right place." And we were in an amazing way just guided to the right place where we had our labyrinth, built a 40-foot chart style labyrinth on the property. Wow. And had workshops there as well. So very similar to what you're talking about, Laurie. It's like having that vision. And again, you're allowing those thoughts to come in, which weren't really on the top of your mind, or your ego saying, let's do this. That comes in from spirit and, oh, let's go for it. Let's go for it. And that's the way that began your journey for really helping people. So that's beautiful.
I've put your book up there, Patricia. Where can we get the book? Orders from the Cosmic Kitchen?
The best place is Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon has and I have another book called 11 Steps to Achieve Your Dreams, which is really focused on the inner foundation, not just going out and doing it. That one came out last year, and I'm working on the audio book for that one. But yeah, Amazon's got it. So thank you.
I want to put that up on the banner there. 11 steps
you.
to
11
achieving.
steps to achieve your dreams.
Mm.
Yeah. And it's really focused on that inner foundation, loving yourself, meditation, your affirmations and things like that, rather than just saying, go do it. And your inner child work. I think the inner child work is so important. And, one of the big gurus I was listening to recently said, oh, you don't have to get anything with your inner child to do any of that stuff. But that's a very masculine kind of approach, just go out and do it. And it works for some people. But for a lot of people, they end up getting stuck because they can't get past the old stuff because they don't even know what the old stuff is. So that's a, important part in our program, and it is as well.
Yeah.
And one other thing I want to touch on, because I know we're getting towards the end of the hour, and that is the attitude of gratitude.
Oh, yes.
And you know how important that is to really every day just be grateful for everything in your life, little things and big things. Having a nice cup of coffee even in the morning is a nice little thing of gratitude. But, to really focus on the aspects of gratitude for yourself and the people that are in your life, whatever is in your life, and even for the challenges that are in your life, because at some level, they're helping you to grow into a more wonderful and amazing person. And so there's just a lot. And that's very, it's out there now, the attitude of gratitude. But it was early on, that was something that I started doing and just felt like it really helped me so much. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, I don't know if I have it just here, but yes, I was involved in a project called the Gratitude Experiment.
Okay.
And yeah,
Great.
and it was a film we created, Gratitude Experiment.
Uh-huh.
And I'm in the back here, but lots of good people. So we had to answer 50 questions on gratitude. That's how we were screened to be in the film. So, but Mary Morrissey is in here as well. And she talked about the big fire in Montecito, California, years ago, when there was a big fire and lots of houses were burning down and big mansions on the side of the hill and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And the media was there. And I love sharing that story because right now we're in the middle of all that, but they were on the street and the houses were all gone. And they came up to this first family and she was crying and, oh my gosh, we just lost everything. We don't know what we're going to do. Blah, 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 blah. And then 2 doors down, they stopped to interview the next family and very same situation in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And the mom spoke up and said, we are so grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, we got even the cat out.
Mm-hmm.
And we are so grateful to be standing on this sidewalk right now.
Yeah.
So same situation, one ungrateful, one grateful.
Mm-hmm.
So who do you think moved ahead more quickly
Absolutely.
past the tragedy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So important. Thanks.
Yeah. And just knowing that whatever comes along, you'll be able to handle it.
Yes.
Again, not by yourself, asking for support, doing all your self-growth, and your self-care type things, that you'll be able to handle it and get through it, whatever it happens to be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Patricia, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you? I'll put it up on a banner if you share that.
The best way is probably just by email, Patricia at heartinspired.com.
Patricia
at Heart Inspired.
Okay.
Yeah, my company is Heart Inspired Presentations.
Nice.
Yeah.
The reason I like to put things up on banners is because people will watch the show after the fact. So we need to have that information up there.
Yeah. And I do have a Facebook page, but quite honestly, I've been so busy lately, I hardly haven't done anything with that. But we have Instagram, Heal Your Life Training. That's another one. We do more on that at this point than others. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's another thing, social media.
Yeah, there we go.
Can take you down a rabbit hole, right? So
yes.
So to limit that, do what you want with it, but just be careful with it because it really can take you. And I found for a long time, this was years ago, but Rick had gotten both of us. They wouldn't let you put two names on exactly, so he put Rick A. Patricia for the two of us to start a Facebook page. And I was just like, no, I'm not doing anything on Facebook. And he was gone one Saturday doing something and shopping and stuff. I said, oh, well, let me go on. 4 hours later. Like, so that was my first lesson going, oh, you can really get stuck on Facebook, you know.
Mhm.
So I do like it because it helps me keep in touch with certain people,
Yes.
especially. But, you know, and during this fire, I've been keeping in touch with a lot of my friends that there are some others that I know that have been affected as well. So that's been helpful. But yeah, just have to be careful how much time you spend on there. And if you do, you know, look for some of the positive stuff. Look for some of the positive stuff, right?
The funny cat videos.
Yeah. The funny dog videos.
The funny cat videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies, our time is up, and I just want to thank you,
Wow.
Patricia, for being with us today on our Monday show.
Thank you.
Virginia and I are here every Monday morning at this time, and love having guests. And if you're just tuned in or you're watching, you've been watching the Today Show here on the Disability Channel with myself, your host, and also Virginia, my co-host, and our special guest today,
Thanks a
Dr.
lot.
Patricia Crane.
Mhm.
So thank you so much, ladies, and wave goodbye to
Thank
people.
you.
I will see you later. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with Dr. Ramin Modiri. He is our financial guru, and he always has something really fun to share as it is connected to money. And a few weeks ago, he shared the top 15 places to live on the planet. And that's based on housing, economic, politically stable. Like I think they have 12 criteria. And I was really disappointed that neither Canada or the United States was on the list. I know. One time Canada would have been right up there.
Mhm.
So that tells us everything about what's going on in the world and how we need to really get our messages out there, especially those of us in Canada and the United States right now. We really need that.
Yeah.
So bye for now. And we'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same station. See you then.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Laurie. Thanks, Virginia.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Patricia.
The secret's out, my nails are chewed, my lungs are gone from yelling at you. This book's been read, the contents erased, memories of you have drowned up without a trace. And what you wrote on the mirror left me in tears. A note on the doorway tore up our last 5 years. So I walked out the door and down the lane. I never waved goodbye as I walked away. So now I need another life, something new, a wonderful arrangement of color that will not remind me of you. So I walked out the door, and I won't take you back. Somehow I feel like you won't be asking for that. As I wander down the lane, I fall on my face. I'm lying in the rain as my heart begins to break, and the thought of you rolls through my mind. It's a visual image I hope will pass with time. 'Cause you broke my heart and you tore out my limbs the day that I came home to see you in bed with him. So now I need another life, something new. It's a wonderful arrangement of color that will not remind me of you. It's a wonderful arrangement of colors that will not remind me of the earth. Oh, it will not remind me of the earth. Not remind me of you. So I walked out the door and down the lane. I never waved goodbye as I walked away.